Level 3. The Inconsistent Great One. Mario Götze, World Cup final goalscorer, Germany's golden boy, the man who ended Messi's dream in 2014. And yet, here he is at level 3. Götze's career is a case study in what happens when potential meets physical limitation. At Dortmund under Klopp, he was spectacular, quick, intelligent, technically brilliant. Bayern Munich paid his €37 million release clause, expecting a future Ballon d'Or winner. Instead, they got a player battling a metabolic disorder that would only be diagnosed years later: myopathy, a muscle condition that causes fatigue and weight gain. For years, critics called him lazy, unfit, uncommitted. Turns out his body was working against him the whole time. His Bayern career was a disappointment. His Dortmund return, okay. He's rebuilt himself at Eintracht Frankfurt as a deeper midfielder, but the number 10 who lit up the 2014 World Cup, that player vanished years ago. Sometimes biology decides your ceiling. Isco, 4 Champions League winners' medals, though he was a genuine contributor in maybe 2 or 3 of them. Numerous major trophies at Real Madrid, and somehow he was never a guaranteed starter. That's the Isco paradox. The talent was outrageous, close control that made defenders look foolish, creativity that could unlock any defense, technique that belonged in a highlights reel. But talent without reliability is just entertainment. At Madrid, he'd produce a masterclass one week, then disappear for a month. Managers loved his ability, then benched him for players who offered more consistency. His numbers, 53 goals in 353 appearances over 9 years, tell the story. Good enough to stay, not indispensable enough to start regularly. By 2022, he was on the bench for the Champions League final in Paris, a passenger collecting another medal. His Real Betis renaissance has been impressive. Captain, creative heartbeat, leading them to a Conference League final. But it came too late to change the overall verdict. Tomáš Rosický. Before Arsenal, there was Dortmund. Rosický arrived in 2001 as the most expensive signing in Bundesliga history, a record transfer fee for a 20-year-old Czech who'd been lighting up the Champions League with Sparta Prague. In his first full season, he won the Bundesliga title and reached the UEFA Cup final. The nickname Little Mozart came from his ability to orchestrate play, not blessed with pace, but the way he glided across the pitch with the ball made it look like he was lightning fast. Then Arsenal, and then the injuries. When healthy, he was a joy: quick passing, intelligent movement, grace between the lines. The problem? When healthy applied to maybe 40% of his career. His talent was level 5. His availability kept him at level 3. Sometimes the body just says no. Pablo Aimar, Messi's idol. That speaks volumes about his pure ability. Maradona called him the only player he'd pay to watch. At River Plate, Valencia and Benfica, Aimar was a genuine 10. Creative, technical, capable of deciding matches with a single pass or dribble. He had everything in his locker: vision, flamboyant dribbling skills, the ability to beat defenders and create something from nothing. But his peak was short, his consistency limited. Injuries plagued him from his mid-20s onwards, and the magic became harder to find. Remembered fondly, not reverentially. That's level 3. Dele Alli. At his peak, this ranking would be criminal. From 2016 to 2018, Dele was a phenomenon. 18 goals and 7 assists in 2016-17. Back-to-back PFA Young Player of the Year awards, performances that had Europe's elite circling. At one point, he'd scored 8 goals in 6 league games, including consecutive braces against Southampton, Watford, and Chelsea. Before turning 21, he had more Premier League goal involvements than Lampard, Gerrard, and Beckham combined at the same age. The comparisons weren't crazy. This was a player who looked destined for the absolute elite. Then the collapse began. The goals dried up. The movement became predictable. The edge disappeared. The decline is almost unprecedented for a player of his early promise. What happened? Personal problems, lifestyle issues, manager changes. His body and mind stopped cooperating. At his peak, Dele was level 5, maybe higher. Rafael van der Vaart, the elegant Dutchman who made everything look easy. At Ajax, Hamburg and Tottenham, Van der Vaart was the classic number 10, creative and capable of spectacular goals. His problem was durability and application. Hamstring injuries plagued his career. He'd string together excellent performances, break down, and spend months recovering. At his best, he was a joy to watch. His best just didn't happen often enough.